Okay, amazing. Welcome back, everyone. We are here today talking about NFTs with Stephen from Hedge Fund Hyenas. How are you,
Yes,
Stephen?
I'm great, Steffi. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. We miss Oski. He didn't show up, which is not good for, it's not really good. We need to do something.
Yeah, it's April 1st. Maybe it's April Fool's joke and he'll show up.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably busy with the Umbria stuff.
yes,
There's so
yeah.
much going on at the moment as they are adding more chains. It's just lots of work. He and Barney are just smashed.
Yeah, I brought up to them the idea of Solana yesterday, and they seemed
Yeah.
pretty excited about adding a Solana bridge, um, which I think would be very smart. Barney had asked, what projects that we're seeing a lot of suggestions in, and I'm hearing a lot about Solana projects lately. So
Well, I think
Bridge,
a lot is happening there because OpenSea announced they are going to start accepting NFTs on Solana from April. So it's just probably the right time to make sure that people are able to bridge at the lowest cost.
yes, the bridge, and it's going to bring a lot of volume to Solana projects on OpenSea. I think that's going to be a really exciting day um, on OpenSea, and the bridge would go a really long way. Right now you have to send funds to an exchange, then you have to, exchange your Matic or your Ethereum or something for Solana. It's quite a bit of work.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly, exactly. Well, I haven't bought any NFTs on Solana yet, but let's maybe start from you because hedge fund hyenas. What do you
yes.
do?
Hedge Fund Hyenas, we are a multi-chain project. So we have our collection across both Polygon and Ethereum. Our Polygon collection is already launched. We have 1,233 NFTs. We launched that back in January. So we already have over 300 holders. Um, and on April 29th of this month, we are launching the last 2,100 pieces on Ethereum. So if I promote anything, that might be, what I promote after, which is, excuse me, that mint coming up on April 29th. But what we're about is two things. So one is investing in NFTs. Uh, we have a very knowledgeable base of traders and investors where we do a couple of unique things. Um, every Tuesday night we get together, we have an investment meeting where we review projects as a group, and we talk about if we think something's a good investment or if we see red flags. We have a whole spreadsheet where we order opportunities, and then we have a DAO as well where we actually invest in projects that we're excited about. We have a whole weighted polling system to figure out what to invest in.
When you say that every Tuesday you meet up, how many of you is behind the fund?
Well, every holder has a say in what we invest in. So when we're going to do an investment, we do a two-phase voting process. We start with a vote where there's around 10 projects that we're interested in. We narrow it from 10 down to 3, and then we do a second vote with those top 3 to get it down to 1. So every holder has a say. Now, I'm sure everybody knows when you have hundreds of holders, not every single one is involved. Um, a lot of them vote, but in terms of getting it down to investments during those meetings, we have around 50 to 60 active people that are helping analyze opportunities every week.
Okay.
Um, and there's a lot of projects out there that offer alpha and try to tell you what the best investment is. And that's great. And we offer that too. But I think what makes us different is we're a lot more about the process for figuring out what is good, the understanding the rationale behind it. Why is it good? Why is it not good? And we figure that out on our own.
I mean, in order to make obviously better choices, you need the people that have got knowledge, they've got experience. How is your circle works? I mean, to become a part of this fund, I understand that each of these people have a token, but is that kind of like any criteria that you are going to let in? Or anybody that can just buy the token and want to be part of it can just join?
That's a great question. It's the latter. Anyone can buy a token. So we welcome people who are brand new. I've never heard what an NFT is, don't even know what it stands for, to somebody who is a veteran that spends their whole day looking at it. We want to be as welcoming and inclusive as possible there. I think everyone in this community wants to bring new people in, right? Explain what NFTs are, why they have value, why people get so excited about them. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
we don't.
I like that you are kind of accessible to everybody. But what about, I mean, investment decision that had to be made, properly with people. Sometimes I'm not saying that not everybody should be involved, but some people, they don't have so much experience or knowledge, then maybe it's better they watch or they delegate their vote
Yep.
to somebody they trust.
Yep. No, that's a great point, and that's thank you for bringing that up. That is, a big reason why we want people to trust our founding team. So there's three of us, myself and two others, and we try to help facilitate that process. So the holders make all the final decisions, but we try to help facilitate just to make sure that we don't go down a path that we think is detrimental or not going to be good, right? So to your point, there's, it's tricky when you get 50, 60 people talking about something. There's going to be conflict. There's going to be different ideas. Some people are going to have a conflict of interest, right? Maybe they're personally invested in something and then they want to get everyone else involved in it. So, we do our best to make sure that everyone gets heard, but we also go down a right path. And I mean, listen, I'll tell you something else that's a little secret, right? Investing in NFTs is not always supposed to be the most profitable thing, right? A lot of people don't make a lot of money from it. It's fun.
Well, exactly.
It's
Exactly. I have a
fun.
few NFT and I'm still down what I paid.
Yes, me too. It's supposed to be fun. So, yes, are we trying to be as profitable as possible? Absolutely. But, we don't want it to be hyper pressurized or anything like that. We're all supposed to be having fun with this at the end of the day, too. So we try to make the best decisions possible. But, at the end of the day, I think the reason we all show up there is because we like talking about this stuff. We like analyzing things. And then, I think data is a very important piece too. Anytime you can make data-driven decisions, that's always the way you should go. Now, there's not always a lot of data to work with in this space, but there's more than people think as well. So that's an important
Okay, that's
component.
that's that's a good point, but I'm sure that many people listening at this live stream, they maybe want to buy NFT, they want to get involved in the space, but they are, they are asking themselves, where should I start? Which NFT project should I look at? So coming back to your investment strategy, where do you start? Which are the criteria that make you selecting a specific project, and how you, break those down and go up to the selection? So if there is a way that we can give some advice to people, why advice? We can give some, share some insight to people on what the thought process should be, and then also obviously share your approach.
Absolutely. So we use a Google Excel workbook right now. It is something that we're looking at bringing onto our website afterward, but it does the trick, and we analyze projects a few different ways. So one is objective criteria. So what is the size of the collection? What blockchain is it on? What's the mint price, right? And if it's already minted, What is the floor price? What's the volume traded? That's objective criteria, right? There's no opinions needed there. Those are just plain fact numbers. And there's a lot of things you can draw from those numbers too. For instance, oversupply is a big issue. That's something we talked about on the Twitter space yesterday. If you see a collection that has 10,000 pieces, I mean, they better have tens and tens of thousands of followers, or else they're not going to sell that whole collection. And if people, anyone that's bought NFTs knows, if you don't sell out the whole collection, that hurts your floor price. And there's a lot of projects out there that shot for a 10,000 supply. Maybe they got 6,000 or 7,000 sold. Their floor price is not doing well. Had their supply just been 5,000, they would have sold out. They would have had a lot of activity, and things could have been great. So that's just an idea of where having those objective measures can help you evaluate a project.
Okay, what about the team? What about the, the art? I mean,
so let's talk about the subjective pieces here, right? 5 pieces here: team, the community, their marketing strategy, the art, and lastly, the roadmap and utility. So those are kind of the 5 where you have to bring in, your own subjective opinions to make some decisions. So let's go through all those real quick too. So for team, obviously the first thing everybody looks at is, are they doxxed or not? But then it goes beyond that too. What is their experience? How active are they? What's their relationship with the community? Are they doing the whole thing themselves, or are they having to freelance some of the work? There's a lot of different things you can look for on the team side. In terms of community, obviously their social followings is important. How engaged is their community? How active is, their chat and their Twitter and everything like that. And please stop me if there's any of these you want to talk about.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Marketing. So what is their marketing strategy? Do they have, a trailer, a video? How is their website? Does it give you all the information that you need? So evaluate their marketing. Art, art is always a tricky one, right? Because, the whole thing is art is subjective. And there's a whole lot of different things here, right? You can have 3D art. The big thing now is you can have walking pieces, right? The animated pieces, or even just for, as a pixel art. So that one's really tough. What I look for there is just, is it something that gets people excited? And again, that's hard to measure, but it's kind of one of those things you just know it when you see it. And lastly, and this one I think is the most important, what's their roadmap and what's their utility, right? So one of the first things I personally look for in a project is, does it have longevity and sustainability? Is it going to be around 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 2 years from now? Or is it going to be irrelevant in 2 months, right? There has to be something that is providing continual value, that's bringing people back. And I'll just give an example too. I saw a super exciting project the other day. The art was phenomenal. It was animated. Each piece was a one of one. I mean, it was so cool. You just wanted to get one right there, right? But when you go and you look at the roadmap, there's nothing else to the project. It's just that very, very cool, amazing art. So you have to ask yourself, is there still going to be a demand for this 3 or 6 months from now? You're not getting anything else with it. So that's a piece where I think, the sustainability and longevity of a project is just one of the top 2 or 3 things I look for.
Well, I think you break it down quite clearly, and it was quite good actually what you said. In terms of like community, obviously that means social media, that means engagement. if you have to say, where the main community should be, for instance, is more valuable if the project has got a bigger Discord community, or if it's got, quite a strong Twitter following. I mean, it looks like everybody is looking at Twitter as a measure of the project, or for example, is Instagram also good? I think if we can kind of like give some direction, I understand that obviously community can be anywhere, but where is a good indicator for you to a stronger community?
I mean, personally, I look for Discord first, because that's going to be where a lot of the interaction is on a daily basis. That's where your day-to-day announcements are, and that just seems to be the hub for everything, and when you're having a mint or an event, there's not a lot of ways to do an event on Twitter, but in Discord, there's dozens and dozens, right? You can have a game night, right? Or an AMA. I mean, there are Twitter spaces, but you just have so many more options in Discord.
Definitely.
And you're also looking at Discord, of course, for online members too, right? A Discord can have 100,000 members, but if there's only 500 online, that's not very good either, So one thing that we've always tried to do is you want to have about a 10% online to offline ratio. So if you have 1,000 members, 100 should be online. Otherwise, it's the sense that there could be some, fake engagement there.
Compared to Discord, compared to Telegram, because some people, they're all, Telegram fan, and they just value Telegram more than anything else. How do you see that social media space?
Telegram's interesting. We looked at Telegram, and we have a Telegram account, but we have not spent a lot of time on it. For our project, we spoke to, we're doing all the marketing ourselves in-house, but we spoke to some marketing firms out there. And that's a question that I asked a lot of them too, was what do you think about Telegram? Is it worth the time? And I got a pretty universal response that there's not a lot there for NFTs and projects right now. It's not really worth the time. So that was the consensus around January. I don't know if anything's changed there since then. But I mean, I like Telegram. It just doesn't seem like it's really taken off yet.
I mean, for my experience, I would say it's the place where scammers goes. So, like Discord, you have got the ability to kind of like break down channels, M&A or whatever. Is more like a proper working space where a project can share updates. On Twitter, you can, but, they just go down the timeline and they get lost. And also, you can kind of like buy followers or stuff like that. Telegram is even worse. I mean, you get people contacting you from, companies or exchanges, and then they are fake account and they just delete everything. It's just so full of fake people. So I personally don't use it much. But
one other thing I noticed on Telegram too is it's easy to impersonate somebody too on there, because it's difficult to look at somebody's profile sometimes, and you can make yourself appear like somebody else. And if you're not familiar with Telegram, it's easy to fall for that too. If there's a trusted person in a community, it's easy for them to message you and make it look like it's actually that person. And security right now is a huge thing in the space. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars being lost every day to security problems. Discord's being hacked, issues with blockchains, wallets, and everything. So that is one other thing that we're passionate about at HFH is security, teaching people about security, best practices there, because it's really a shame when you see these good projects and stuff and things just fall apart because an admin or a moderator clicked the link and everything's now compromised.
Yeah. Okay. Now I've got a question for you. So as we are moving to Twitter, we are obviously going to talk about Twitter Spaces, where everybody, maybe is on right now, or maybe maybe no. I mean, my question that I have is, a year ago, Clubhouse was the coolest place where people go and talk.
Yep.
Now it looks like Twitter has taken over, but I was having a conversation with actually someone from my team, and he basically said, not really, because Clubhouse is still better. What I would like to ask you is that, so let's look at Twitter, and let's maybe share what you think about Twitter Spaces versus Clubhouse, and if you also think that Clubhouse is coming back up or always been there, and maybe can be a competitor for Twitter Space, or maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think it's a competitor. I mean, I can just tell you from personal experience, I haven't heard of a single person that's using Clubhouse. I'm sure there's quite a few out there. And hey, who knows, maybe I'm missing out. But I talk to a lot of people, you know, especially right now when we're networking and marketing, and the word Clubhouse hasn't even come up.
Okay, so that you think is in the NFT space or generally in crypto?
NFT specifically.
Okay.
Maybe it's got a little more traction for crypto. I'm not sure, but for NFTs, I haven't even seen that show up anywhere.
Okay, so that's good. So forget Clubhouse for NFTs. What about Twitter?
Oh, I mean, Twitter is the place. Absolutely.
It's the marketing place.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that is, if you have a strong presence there, that is incredible for you. And you see projects coming up right now that, you know, gain such a big following right away, and that takes them straight to a sellout after that. So yeah, it's all about Twitter right now.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So tell me, how do you assess a Twitter profile? Because you see some projects that they have got like a moderate following, couple of thousands, and they have going on, for example, for a year, so they build up organically. Some other you see they've got like 20K followers and they are only following 20 accounts. I mean, and then you look down the timeline and there aren't so much retweets. So what are your thought process when you are assessing Twitter profiles?
Well, I think it's important to never assess a Twitter profile on its own, right? You should try to look at that project in the totality between their Twitter, their Discord, their website. If they have a Medium page, right, an OpenSea page, you want to look at it all. You know, it's interesting. I was looking at a project last night. It's got red flags all over it. It's a derivative project. There's only a Twitter account for it. You look at it real quick. It has 15,000 followers and 3 tweets. And if you looked at it real quick, you'd be like, oh my God, this is the next big thing that's coming out soon, right? You dig a little deeper and you can kind of tell it's all fake engagement. You open up the tweets, it's the same messages all the way down, right? The tweet asks you to tag friends, but they're all just typing hashtags. So in this space, there is a big problem right now with people trying to fake engagement, and you don't want to fall for that, because that project obviously doesn't have value, or it could be a rug pull. And the problem is too, if you do fall for it, it gets real people involved, right? If you see a project that has 15, 20,000 followers and a few tweets, they just came out, you might get into that hype too. And you're like, wow, look at that real quick, right? Something, I want to get in on this early. So it's really important to look beyond the surface. Things can look very good, you know, on first glance, but if you do a little bit more due diligence, yeah, you can tell that there's something not right about it.
Okay, I think that was very valuable. So, let's still talking about marketing and community. What about Instagram? Because I thought, as there is a lot of visual with NFTs, I thought that Instagram could actually take off. Do you consider it like a valuable social media or place to communicate for NFT project, or not really?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, in my mind, it's third behind Discord and Twitter.
Okay.
So it's definitely worth the time there to do it. You know, it's a little bit harder to get the interaction with people out there, and you do have to take a different approach. It's not enough for people just to post pictures from their collection. I think that's a mistake a lot of people make is, you know, maybe they have a collection of 5,000 pieces and you go to their Instagram and it's just, you know, piece number 5, piece number 20, piece number
Yeah.
25, right? When people go there, they want to see something different. You know, you can have a couple of those on there, but they want to see graphics about, you know, what you're doing, or, you know, maybe a meme in there or something. There's got to be something more to that page than just
More
your
curated,
art.
basically.
Yeah, yeah, there's got to be yeah, again, just more to it than just being like your OpenSea page part
Yeah.
2. So if done correctly, yeah, I think there's a lot of value there.
Okay. Moving to art, obviously for specifically focus art project, and art is important because, you need to like what you buy, like when you are buying a masterpiece. So I think we understand that. But for some other NFT, art is not really the focus. So if we have to kind of like encapsulate the concept of what you meant with art, was like, let's try to break it down a little bit. It's like, what the NFT represent, if you like it or not. Is there a mix between art and utility? How would you, I'm just thinking some project is not really about the art.
Yeah.
Is more about the NFT, and sometimes it doesn't reflect in a great piece of art.
Yeah, no, it's a very very hard question. Um, you know, I try to just evaluate the art on its own too. You know, there's some things you can do that are objective there
Okay.
as well. So, um, you know, if it's generative art, which most are,
Okay.
how many layers are there, right? There should be a wide variety of layers. Or let me put it another way. It's a red flag if, you know, there's only 10 shirt layers, you know, for a profile picture based project, right? So ideally, there should be a big variety of different traits. That's something that gets people excited, makes things more unique as well. Um, and then, you know, you can kind of evaluate how professional are the different layers and things look. But, you know, um, I got to be honest with you too, Steffi. I struggle articulating what makes good art too.
Yeah.
You know, like how would you do it? Do you have any idea how would you try to describe good art?
Well, is for art, I would just say what I capture my interest, what I like. For example, I got some NFT because I felt attractive to them, and I said, "Oh gosh, I love it. I just love it." It's something that I can't describe. It's more about attention to it. And then for the other side, if I'm buying an NFT that is not art related, then it's more about the utility. What can get me could be a pass, like to something that I need, I want. If it's like a fashion NFT, it's the same as art, to be honest. I just really need to like what the wearable is and feel,
Yeah.
is good on me. I think that is very subjective, as you said. It's difficult to kind of like describe it, but like any investment, is important that NFTs are not stock and shares. So with stocks, you don't fall in love and say, "Oh, I love
Yeah.
Apple. I want to buy it because I love it," or I love
Yeah, their logo.
exactly.
Yeah.
But with art, because it's unique, or with an NFT because it's unique, you need to kind of be happy to hold it. you know, you really need to kind of feel something for it. If it's more like a utility, I'm just thinking some NFT could be a pass to something, or like a private member access stuff. So if you have got that, you can go in something perhaps in the metaverse, or you can have early access to some specific drops. So you still need to like the project, need to like what you are entering in. So yeah. But anyway, I think we talk a lot about assessing NFTs, and I don't want to go over the roadmap and longevity and sustainability, because I think what you said at the beginning was, very clear. I wanted to talk a little bit about this NFT bubble that started in 2021, and obviously it got kind of like exaggerated by the fact that we have seen all these fashion brands, especially because there are other brands coming into the space, but it was a lot of fashion brand, big one, starting from Balenciaga to Gucci, now all of them, they are all just doing NFT drops. And it looks like the space is a bit, kind of got overwhelmed, and then it wasn't so easy to sell NFTs. Now my question is, has the NFT bubble burst?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think no doubt that we're in a bear market and it's harder to sell NFTs now. I've seen projects that I thought would do really well, really great team, done by, the quality of it is great, and it sells, a third of its total supply. And I think had it been the summer of 2021, it would have sold out, in an hour or two. So we're definitely in a little bit of a downturn, but as far as a bubble goes, there's 5 stages to a bubble.
Okay.
So the first stage is called displacement, but it's just about people getting enamored with the new technology, right? So we're well beyond that phase. Then there's the boom, which is, probably around that summer to third quarter of 2021 phase.
So you think the boom was when, for example, people sold this piece, or it was maybe after that?
I think it was around the time you were talking about all those fashion brands and things coming in.
So
right?
basically in the autumn, let's say, of last year.
Yeah, I think we're and listen, it's if I knew the exact answer to all of this, right, I'd probably be a billionaire. So it's just my opinion, of course, but I think we're past the boom.
Okay.
The third stage is euphoria. So prices are going up, valuations are high, there's a lot of excitement about it.
Yeah.
The fourth stage is profit taking. So that's where the smart money in the space starts quietly exiting because they see that things are not going in a great direction. Okay. And then the last stage is panic, right?
We are not in panic.
We're not in panic.
But I'm thinking Meta saying, Facebook saying Meta, and I remember before Facebook mentioned about the change of the name, I said, I might get some mana. I don't know. I like the metaverse. And I didn't. And then after a week or couple of weeks, these announcement and everything, boom. So maybe there would, and then after that, there was this sense of euphoria.
Yeah.
Do you think we are in the profit taking, or that is already, or is happening now, has already been happening, or is going to happen?
Yeah, let's talk that out. I mean, listen, we've done a good job of, I think we've eliminated 3 of the stages, right? I think we're certainly out of displacement. We're certainly past the boom, or at least I think we're past the boom. We're not in panic mode yet, right? The last one. So we're either in the euphoria stage or in the profit taking stage.
Okay, so
I would argue that we're probably still in the euphoria phase. There's still so many projects coming out. It doesn't seem to be slowing down, even though they're not selling as well. There's still a lot of them. Some of them are selling out. There was a big project yesterday called Dreadfuls that sold out in an hour and a half.
All right. Okay.
There's still a lot of excitement. Yeah, a lot of people behind it. So I think we're still in the third stage.
Okay.
But yeah, but we still have to be wary that, we get into the profit taking stage, we don't notice it.
Okay, so let's talk about the profit taking stage. What will be the signal that you are looking that we should just bear in mind?
Well, the thing about it is there's going to be some warning signs, but they're not going to be easy to identify, right? If it was easy to identify, then, maybe the bubble would never burst, right? Or people would know about it and there wouldn't be a panic afterwards. So I don't know that we're even going to be able to fully identify it, but if we do, you're going to see people start to leave the space. Maybe you're going to see lower investments made into the space. You might see some projects start to diversify to different things other than NFTs. So if you start to see a shift where there's less money coming in, less investments, then that might be a sign that we're in the profit taking stage.
But tell me, where do you see that there are less money in the space? I mean, a person that, is not able to analyze the market like that. How do you see that less money are in the NFT space?
I mean, you can try to just do it from, you have to be engaged or you're not going to see it either way. But if you follow a lot of trends on Twitter and a lot of big projects, and you're looking at maybe OpenSea and seeing what the trending collections are and whatnot, you kind of get a sense for what are the big projects that are still coming out with new things, right? So, you have the gutter cat and dog collection, which is one of, the biggest brands in the NFT space, right? They just came out with a whole mutant line for their gutter collection. So you can take your gutter rat and turn it into a mutant gutter rat. And they have a whole like serum, like the, mutant apes that helps you do it. That's a sign that they're still investing in the project, the space, they're still growing it, right? If you start to see some of these bigger projects start to trail off and not continue to do new content and utility, that might be a sign that we're in the profit taking stage.
Okay, so then the metaverse comes up because Bored Apes go in the metaverse. Everybody's doing metaverses. So I actually just realized that also Vigocci is doing, or he just released a metaverse. So, more and more metaverses idea coming up. That is kind of like related or very interconnected with NFTs. So if the metaverse keeps developing, do the NFT as well? So I don't know what type of bubble is gonna burst, or it's gonna change its shape. Maybe it's the profile picture, or maybe it's the utility, something that we have to look at. I don't know. Tell me a bit the relationship between metaverse and NFT. How do you see it?
Well, I'm gonna have to let you down a little bit, Steffi, okay? Because I'm probably the wrong person for this. So our project, Hedge Fund Hyenas, we're not involved in the metaverse at all. We are all about investing, collecting. Yep. And then there's another aspect that maybe we can talk about towards the end in terms of a marketplace. As far as the metaverse goes, I got to be totally honest with you, Steffi. I don't even know where the metaverse is at this point. Okay. Where is it? How do I find it? Where are these different places? And I mean, I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek. I understand Sandbox. I understand Decentraland. I understand Somnium space. But I gotta tell you, I look at some of these projects and I don't even, it takes me a half hour to try to figure out where they exist, how they exist, where I have to go to be a part of it. So personally,
it's not exciting. It's not. I was also during the fashion show. I was trying to jump into some part of the central land, and I was so frustrated. Then I was even frustrated to move my avatar with the thingy, and I said, "What the fuck I'm doing here?" It's like it's really clumsy. It's really clumsy.
Yeah, I've been I've been a gamer my whole life, and I've been around long enough where, I mean, my first real gaming system was a Super Nintendo, but I got to tell you, it reminds me of like a PlayStation 1 graphics sometimes if you're doing it from your browser or something. I mean, it feels like we've gone back 12 years. And listen, I get it. We're doing huge things there, and the graphics will catch up at some point. But I got to tell you, even on that front, it's hard for me to get totally excited when it doesn't even feel always like it's new technology. But I mean, listen, I don't mean to sound totally down on it. It is probably the future. It is probably going to be the next big thing. I just think it's still really early.
Yeah.
And I do think that in general, it can be a red flag when a project says that they're metaverse based. I think you really have to do due diligence.
Okay. That's interesting point.
Yeah, and there's some amazing ones, but there's a lot of people that are just using that word because it's a buzzword.
Because it's a buzzword,
Exactly.
Well, I think obviously Sandbox and the Central Land, they are going to improve their technology, improve their experience, and get better and better. But there will be definitely many other projects using the words to kind of trying to sell what they have. So talking about NFT marketplace, because that's another question mark. So if I have got an NFT idea, where do I launch it? And where do I do the minting? Who is the technology partner I'm going to work with? And then if I'm a user, which marketplace should I go? So let's maybe start to break that down.
Yeah.
Starting with a simple, stupid question. If I have got an NFT idea, what is the mint? How do I get my idea into like a physical NFT, and what is the minting process means? So just break down all these kind of steps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm trying to think where exactly the best place to start is to. I mean, why don't we start with minting, if that's all right. So when you're minting, you have a smart contract, right? And let's just say, you're doing a project on Polygon, just for an example. So you have a smart contract that's on Polygon Scan, and that smart contract defines, what the price is, what the total supply is, and that will facilitate who owns the tokens, right?
Okay.
Now, just about every project out there that does minting is going to have their own website, and they're going to have something called a DApp, right? A decentralized app that allows you to go on their website and mint. And all that DApp is doing is it's basically interfacing with that smart contract on Polygon Scan, and implementing the mint function on it. So one thing that is just an interesting note is, if anyone out there is hesitant or doesn't trust dApps, the minting apps, they can almost always just go to the smart contract itself on Polygon Scan or Etherscan and mint directly from it. That's kind of like a nice little trick, just if you're a little bit, suspect of an app. So, if you're a creator, you're going to probably have your own website, and you're going to create a dApp that people can mint, which is essentially interacting with your smart contract.
Okay.
Now, if you want to go,
what about if you are a creator and you just upload your art on Rarible? They are going to do the work. You don't need an app on your website.
Absolutely. That is an option, especially if, maybe you're a one-person operation or 1 to 2 person operation, and you don't want to hire a developer to try to figure out the smart contract, the website, and the dApp, absolutely, you can upload your art right to Rarible, to OpenSea. It'll be minted on there for you. You can set the price and people can buy it straight off of there. It's not as popular of an option, but it's absolutely an option for people. The only thing I would say is if people do want to go the route of their own smart contract and minting dApp, there are so many good free resources out there to show you how to do that. Yes, you need the time to learn them, right? But they are meant for people to start from scratch and learn how to do it.
So even people, they are not developers, using those tools that you said they are available online, you are going to be able to create a dApp.
I would, yes, you don't have to be a developer. I think you do have to be somebody that is, good with a computer, meticulous, has some level of understanding just about how things generally work, but you definitely do not have to be someone that has a degree in computer science to get one of those things up and
Can you
running.
share some sources?
Yeah, I think one great one for people to start out with is called Hashlips on YouTube. It's HASHLIPS.
Yeah.
He has a channel. In fact, he was doing it part-time and he recently quit his job and he's now doing the training full-time. But that is one where he's very, very good at taking somebody with no experience and then showing them how to do these things. So there's a lot more ones out there, but that's definitely what I would recommend.
Okay, fantastic. So let's move on. Let's talk about marketplaces. Which are your favorite one? Some comments, some concern, and then we can maybe talk a little bit about the problem of counterfeiting and perhaps some recommendation maybe to wrap it up for people to make sure they take the precautions to don't get hacked or to don't expose themselves to any vulnerabilities.
Absolutely. So, I mean, listen, the two biggest marketplaces that people are going to be on is OpenSea for, Polygon and Ethereum, and Magic Eden for Solana,
Okay.
right? Now, there are a lot of competitors coming up now for OpenSea, which is a really good thing because they had such a kind of monopoly on the market before that they could kind of do whatever they want. And this extra competition is going to force them to lower fees, come out with more features, and be even more competitive. I personally don't see them being losing that top spot anytime soon, but anything's possible. And Magic Eden, who knows after OpenSea takes on Solana how relevant Magic Eden's going to be. I still think it'll still be popular because it's been a mainstay in that blockchain and community. But this is definitely, I think, going to take quite a bit of traffic from it.
That would be interesting.
And it just, if I could tell you too, Steffi, the term marketplace right now kind of has two different meanings. You have the marketplaces where people buy and sell NFTs, and then people are also using the term marketplace when a project comes out with their own token and they have a project has their own marketplace. So for example, one big project that came out recently was Satoshi Runners. They have a marketplace where you can earn their token and you can buy whitelist spots for other projects. That seems to be a really popular concept that's going out right now. And I did just want to mention that our project, Hedge Fund Hyenas, we are also coming out with a marketplace, but it's for Web3 services. So we actually want to help new creators out there if they need help with their Discord, right, in terms of security and closing loopholes or setting it up and integrations, if they need help with their smart contract, or they need help with marketing in some way, we're going to have our own marketplace that they can get help from.
Okay.
So just wanted to throw that in there, just because when people think of our project, it's kind of two aspects. It's the whole investment side, and then kind of this marketplace that we want to build that we think is going to be pretty unique.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was useful. So shall we maybe just leave it with some recommendation for users to how you can actually do some security checks? What can you do to don't get exposed to hacks, any kind of vulnerability, stolen funds, etc., etc.?
Absolutely. I have a colleague at Hedge Fund Hyenas too. His name is Coulomb. He's our security expert, but I have some tips that I've learned from him that I'll pass along.
Okay.
But I would encourage, if anyone else is curious or wants to know more, he loves talking about this stuff, come and join our Discord and talk to us about it. But a couple things. One is, anytime you are using your wallet, your MetaMask or Phantom wallet, as soon as you are done with any transaction, hit the lock button. That logs you out, and that protects you. People have a bad habit sometimes of just leaving themselves logged in to MetaMask through their whole session.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't do that. That makes you vulnerable. As soon as you're done whatever you're doing, lock it. It takes you 2 seconds to sign back in afterward.
Yeah.
Also, go to your connected sites in MetaMask and disconnect from all of them. You don't need to be connected to any site after you're done using it. I'm sure if some people went and looked right now, their wallet's still probably connected to some site from months ago that they've totally forgotten about, right? And that's just, normally you're all right, but that's just not something you want to take a risk in. It takes 2 seconds to open up MetaMask and disconnect yourself from all the other sites that are out there. Yeah, those are two immediate ones that come to mind. The only other thing I would just bring up is Discord right now is a big target for hackers. They're trying to get you to obviously click links, but they're also trying to get you to share your screen and reveal information about your account that they can then use to log in. So as careful as you are with your wallet, you need to be that careful on Discord, on Twitter, and everywhere.
That's a good point. And I mean, I was thinking about that the other day when somebody said to me, oh, you might need to have an IT person or somebody, just to, so anything that you need, maybe your email archive or stuff like that. And I was thinking, I don't want to leave my laptop with somebody that, so with anybody, even that I know, I don't want to leave my laptop.
Yeah.
So I think we are kind of entering a world where we are entering like a time where you need to be able to do your own IT yourself. Because I mean, would you leave your laptop with somebody even if you log out? I don't know. I wouldn't. There is so much there.
Yeah, probably not, unless you are really on top of your game, right? If you're somebody the rare person who actually changes their passwords frequently and, cycles through all their accounts and everything, then maybe you could do that. But I think for most of us, no. And I think you're 100% right, Steffi. Everyone should kind of have to be their own security person. Yeah.
I think so, because it's just getting so dangerous. And, you have your password all in Google, and then, you always leave some trace somewhere. And if somebody is trying to exploit you, he will try to find those flaws and just, and just take you. I mean, it's just so difficult, when cash was the main thing, it's easier to hide money. When everything is somewhere that you can't see, it's just not easy. First, to secure. Second, remember as well, because I don't know if ever happened, but sometimes, you know, I kind of forget. Oh, I have got, you know, I've got this token in somewhere there, and actually it did happen to me. I'm gonna share something, and then I'm gonna let you go. I bought this token on Binance Smart Chain a long time ago called my DeFi Pet, and that was
Okay.
one of the beginning at the beginning when he listed, and it was cheap, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna buy a little bit, but like, you know, a couple of $100, not much. Anyway, it went up massively. At some point I had almost like over $4,000 or something in there.
Oh my.
And I said, oh great, you know, I can just do some shopping, and I converted them in USDT. And then, you know what I did? I sent them to my Coinbase wallet, and they got lost
Oh
because
no.
it was another chain. It was like
Yep.
Binance Smart Chain and the Ethereum chain on Coinbase. And I was trying to contact support at Coinbase,
Yep.
support at Binance. Nobody helped me. They said, oh, well, if one day if Coinbase integrate Binance Smart Chain, then, or Binance Chain, because it's not
Yeah.
Binance Chain anymore, then maybe your funds, you know, show up. But for now, you know, we're sorry. So I think, you know, remembering and taking care and be careful is another issue, and it can happen to people they actually know things. It's not that happen only, you know, if you don't know anything. It did happen to me, and I knew that the two chain are not, you know, you can't transact on the same chain. I don't know why I did it. It was just
Listen, if I had a dime for every time I've heard that story too at this point, you know, I'd be rich. So nobody should feel bad. It's almost like a rite of passage at this point. You know, I think you're in the minority if that hasn't happened to you. Especially people who are familiar with Polygon should know you can't send Matic to Coinbase. Coinbase is just not set up for Matic, and it'll be lost. And I've seen so many people, it happens to them. And I'll tell you what, Steffi, once it happens once though, I guarantee it's never happened to you again.
oh yeah,
Right?
definitely. I could have bought like 5 pair of Balenciaga sneakers.
Well, I
Right.
hope you get those at some point. Anyway, I do have one last tip
Go
too,
on.
just for anyone out there to you know, get a hardware wallet if you don't have one already. I personally use a Ledger. I love Ledger. If you're thinking that it's complicated or you don't want to deal with it, no, it's easy. It's super easy. You plug it in, you do your transaction, it gives you peace of mind. So you know, don't put that off or say you'll do it later or something like that. They're not that expensive. They're super easy to use, and you know, give you extra peace of mind.
Okay, I think it was a great tip to just put stuff on a cold wallet.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, Stephen, thank you so much. I think we kind of like thought about everything, NFTs, and I mean, it's great the insight that you share. And I think if anybody has got other question, it would be great to hear from you. So just you know, hit us on social media, on Twitter, send me a DM, contact Stephen, and you know, perhaps we can do that again. I think it's very valuable to kind of break down stuff for people.
Yeah. Hey, this was so fun to talk to you too, Steffi. So I appreciate, I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I really enjoyed myself. So have a great day and have a great weekend. And, you know, we're recording this on April Fool's, so don't get tricked today. All right.
Exactly.